Welcome to the Washington Defender Grassroots. I'm your host, Pastor Brian Noble, CEO of Family Policy Institute of Washington and FPIW Action.org. We have another candidate meet and greet, and it is my privilege to bring this candidate on and introduce you. Now, friendly reminder, nothing in this video is an endorsement of the candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW Action. It's simply a public service to meet and greet the candidate. So, Natalie, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're glad to have you. We kind of live in the same neck of the woods over here in the Spokane Valley area. So good to see you once again. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and tell them why you're running for office?
Well, Natalie Poulson, running for Washington State Representative in Legislative District 3, which is basically Spokane, and Position 2. And I am a mom on a mission for the people of Spokane. I've lived here my entire life. Oh, let's see if I can talk this morning. Lifelong Spokaneite. I grew up in the Valley, actually, so I definitely know your neck of the woods, and now live on the north side. Raised 3 children. One of them I'm still working on, but 2 of them went through Spokane Public Schools. So I know Spokane well. Definitely my community. Taught special ed for over 20 years. So I am a teacher and have worked through many different local schools.
That's awesome. And we need people on north side, south side, valley, all around, just that we're going to stand for conservative values, biblical values, those kind of things. So we're honored to have you on today. What would you say is the most important thing that you want to take to Olympia?
I think the most important thing that I can take is my education background. As far as the last few years, I was in Spokane Public Schools. I was an education specialist. And so I spent the time bridging gaps, making sure we could all sit at the table and have conversation and put a kid first, which can be challenging when, people have very heightened emotions when it's talking about their kid or the kid that they want to help. And so we really had to navigate those conversations. So I really think that in Olympia, I can have those conversations. I can bring people to the table. We can have good conversation and really, truly come up with some solutions.
Well, that's great, because I know, as being in the minority as far as the Republican Party, that, every committee, every floor, we have to find ways to bridge those gaps and have healthy dialogue and conversations.
Well, and that's what a true republic should be, right? It shouldn't be the majority leading the minority. Unfortunately, we are right now, but I would like to still find those common conversations. And that's what I think I can do well.
Awesome. I also know that you do fairly well at technology, which is helpful because oftentimes it's bringing attention to, maybe some of the differences that we do have, so people are aware of what's happening in Olympia. Talk on that for a little bit.
Definitely working with some young adults. I have 2 of my own. My son helps me occasionally, but really bringing in some of the young Republicans. For one, I very much believe in bringing up the next generation and really making sure that they're equipped to do what they need to do. And they're equipping me a little bit with this whole, social media and technology. Yes, I use it in my classroom, but also, moving into the social media. I'm a quick learner, and I'm learning from some of the youth.
Now, you have some small businesses that you run. I don't know if it's plural or singular, but tell us about those.
I decided, I think it was about a year ago. Well, actually during COVID, kind of did the sourdough craze, but a lot of it was based on health. I just loved bread, but I couldn't seem to eat it. And so I started doing research and realized how healthy it was for you. So started making a lot of sourdough, and now all things sourdough. It's a great little home micro bakery, and I make sourdough, sweetbread sourdough, sourdough chocolate chip cookies, just all the things.
All the great stuff that just keeps us energized and pumped up. That's awesome. Well, good. When you look at Olympia and you look at our Spokane area, what are some of the concerns that you have?
Well, I've lived here, like I said, my whole life. And one of the things that is very concerning is affordability. I have 2 adult children. I know my son has 2 jobs and still needs a roommate because it's just so incredibly expensive. And so I'm definitely a firm believer in trying to make sure that we look at affordability. That's everywhere from housing to let's start looking at revenue streams, balancing a budget. I mean, obviously it's multifaceted, but those are some of my very top concerns.
Yeah, I think when we look at what's happening here in our state, a lot of it is regulation, especially in the housing costs. It's over regulation and or how we're managing our lands. I mean, our growth plan.
Well, even the one thing of natural gas, I remember in the 90s, it was a huge push to have natural gas, and now all of a sudden they want to ban it. And that's an automatic 10,000 or more on a new build, which could put it out of the price range for a new home buyer.
Right. Exactly right. When you look at the lawlessness as well as homelessness, what's your stance on those topics?
Well, I definitely feel we need to separate homelessness from what we really see as an addiction and a mental health crisis. So I want to have those conversations. I think we lump them together at times and they need to be separated. There is true homelessness, and that's a completely different category and issue, which is really around affordability, in my opinion.
Right.
And then we have this addiction and mental health crisis. So I'm a really strong advocate for having true recovery. And true recovery is not just throwing money at how many people walk in the door, often a revolving door, but actually what's the outcome? Are we getting people recovered and successful and living their best life?
Yeah, oftentimes when you look at the mental illness and or addiction, and then you have zero barrier entry, housing, it becomes very difficult because there's not a lot of accountability that takes place there. And so how do we actually help these people versus enable them? Awesome. Any closing remarks? How do people get a hold of you? How do they, contact you?
friendsofnatalie.com is my website. And then you're always welcome to email me, which is friendsofnataliepoulson@gmail.com. And then, just jump on my website, put that you want to interact, and we'll be in touch, whatever that looks like, whether you want to sign or if you want to come volunteer or even just interacting on social media. So I've got to always make sure I'm doing what my young Republicans say, and they're definitely firm believers. You got to interact on that social media. And that's the way that the algorithms, right? And your network becomes my network, and we start spreading the word and being able to really increase just traction through the campaign.
All right. So we have a primary coming up, and how many are running in your particular?
There's 4 of us. So there's 3 Democrats and then myself.
Okay.
And so I'm the only Republican in the race. It's the first time it's been an open seat since 1996. So it's an exciting moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope that people will reach out and get to know Natalie a little bit, ask her about her policy positions, and just get to know her in the Spokane area. I'll put up your website here one more time. friendsofnatalie.com is where you can get more information about her. I think it's important that we research and just get to know each other as candidates and then hopefully elected officials as we move forward. Any closing remarks, and then we'll wrap things up here.
I think the biggest thing is, Spokane District 3 has been voting the same way for a long time. So I like to say, stop voting for your own struggle. Washington has not gotten better. So I'm the change. Give it a try. Vote for Natalie.
All right. So vote for Natalie. That's what we want to do. It's time for change. Thank you for coming on today, Natalie.
Thanks for having me.
You love our beautiful state, but does fighting for issues that most affect families ever feel like you're climbing alone? It can feel like an uphill climb in a hostile environment that champions causes detrimental to Washington families. Again and again, the summit feels out of reach, but you don't have to climb alone. With like-minded people fighting for Washington families by your side, the journey becomes not just possible, but powerful. The Defender app, brought to you by the Family Policy Institute of Washington, connects you with your team for the climb ahead. Connect with conservatives who care about issues affecting families in your specific county and across our state in order to make our voices be heard locally and in Olympia. Simply click Learn to stay informed about the latest news affecting families. With one click, press Huddle to team up with other conservative minds in your specific county who care about how these issues affect you in your unique community. Then simply press Activate to get involved and to make your voice heard on legislation that matters in Olympia. With the Washington Defender app, you won't face the fight alone. Together, we can make a difference for families in Washington. Download the Washington Defender app today, a simple way to let your voice be heard.